Super Saiyan mode activate, go!
I am surprised I hit you.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Magnum, and this is going to be my impressions type video for Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme versus Maxi Boost on. And I think I got the whole name in there right. But anyway, I guess one of the first questions most people are going to be asking that is interested in this game is what's the difference between this and the Gundam Versus that came out a while back. Actually, I guess it's been a year or two or more, something like that. Anyway, technically, this is the older game out of the two, from what I understand. But they pretty much changed, with Gundam Versus, they added a new mechanic, which is the big change from this game. And that was the down boosting, which I didn't play. Well, here's my history real quick. Gundam Versus Zeta Gundam, and I played the demo for Gundam Versus, and that's pretty much all I've done. So that's my knowledge going into this game, by the way. But anyway, the down boosting thing added pretty much another piece of rotation that just everybody had to add to their current rotation of suits, and it didn't really add anything to make the gameplay more interesting, and that was one of the biggest complaints from what I was getting from other players. So overall, Gundam Versus this one, Maxi Boost On, I'm just going to call it Imbion or Maxi Boost On from here on out. But Imbion, pretty much so far, pretty fun game. I mean, again, I kind of button mashed in the Gundam Versus demo, so I didn't really know too many combos, but not having to worry about boosting down, just focusing on your combos that you're doing at the time. For instance, smacking somebody on the ground over and over again with the Barbatos is a lot of fun, and not having to worry about an extra boost thing, like for certain combos when you're hitting somebody in the air, is kind of nice. This is kind of more of a fighting game than, say, for instance, playing Gundam versus Zeta, and that's kind of the mindset I would go into if you're looking into this game. It's, again, your fighting type game, but you've got an interesting thing where you're fighting with two people at the same time. So let's go ahead and get into the gameplay and kind of talk about it. Overall, again, fighting type stuff, like I said, and it's 2v2. I kind of mixed about it. I like 1v1 stuff overall when it comes to that. The 2v2 thing is a little interesting. You always got to be watching your back, and there's times where you're going to have a teammate go after one while you're going after the other, and then you're going to want to swap depending on what kind of suit you're playing compared to what your teammate's playing and what your enemy's playing. And certain suits will have different jobs. There are certain suits that can help support kind of in a defensive fashion, give you a defensive boost. Normally they could use it on theirself, but they can also give it to their teammate if they want to. Overall, kind of cool, but personally, I like the one-on-one engagement in most kind of fighting game type things. If you wanted to go into 2v2, then that would be cool, and that, you know, hopefully would be just a second mode. From what I understand, that's just Gundam Versus period is the 2v2 thing, and they don't really have a 1v1 mode in this one. So if that's a deal breaker, which I know it is for a friend of mine, then fair enough. Overall, I can deal. I kind of like the combat. I just kind of think of it as this, you know, kind of let's go have some fun, play some Gundam Versus, and that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing as I stream it or anything like that. Now, for the actual fighting itself, you can button mash with some suits and do really well. I'm looking at you, Bell. But the more complicated suits, one of them of which that I've found out recently is the Hildoffer. I love the Hildoffer, but apparently there's a lot of like turn canceling or break canceling or whatever they called it in that suit, and you can get some pretty crazy stuff going on with that, and that's a whole lot of extra combos than just shooting and hearing them go HE every 3 seconds and just keep shooting. So apparently I got a long ways to go with figuring out how to actually play the Hildoffer. But for now, I'll just use the shooting thing and then HE a lot at people. But other than that, you got some suits that go full on and kind of like that. With the Barbatos, only not dying, hopefully. But you go in melee and you got certain combos to do certain things. So you got the sword, or if you, I think it's to the right and down, you start using the 2 clubs. Depending on which direction when you're doing the melee, there's a lot of different things that'll either be easy combos, harder combos, or you're going to be doing a lot of timing type stuff with some more of the shooting suits, which is kind of cool. I'm glad that there's a like, there we go, there was a couple of combos right there where I got to swap back and forth. That's because I'm boosted in the burst, rather, the fighting burst. And yeah, that's pretty interesting mechanic, having the burst thing. It breaks, if somebody's got you in a combo lock, it breaks that, and then you can, well, go ham on somebody. I like to have the shooting one for the GPO2 and then just launch a bunch of nukes at people. Other than that, again, there's a suit pretty much for every kind of playstyle and every kind of skill level, which is one thing I do like. And that kind of brings me to the next part of the gameplay, is there's apparently a full little, like, PvE thing, which is not really a story campaign, but it's their branching system. It's pretty good from what it looks like. Kind of curious to see how fast it gets repetitive, but my main thing is it's also couch co-op, so you can do split screen like that. But what I'm hoping is that it ends up being a also couch co-op for the little battles, and you can just kind of customize what you're going to fight, and then you and a friend can just play on one TV, which is very scarce these days. So it's really cool, and honestly, that's pretty much the selling point for me. And I guess I can go ahead and talk about that right now. The main thing that I didn't like about Gundam Versus was it wasn't split screen. You know, again, I come from Gundam Versus Zeta as far as my, like, first Gundam Versus that I've ever looked at. So having the ability to do couch co-op was, or, well, lack thereof for Gundam Versus, was like the whole point of not buying it, even though I'm a Gundam fan and I like, you know, to have some Gundam games. That was just it. I couldn't deal. But now this does have a split screen of at least the PvE stuff in the little branching pathways thing. So we'll check that out. I'll be streaming that with a friend of mine. Other than that, there's hopefully some kind of like skirmish battle or whatever you want to call it, where you can set up your own custom fights. I'm guessing, I know that is one of the modes from just looking at the menu, but I'm not sure if that's actually one of the things you can do split screen with a friend. So hopefully that is the case, and then as far as like if I had to score the game, it would gain a point for that. But overall, like I said, gameplay and stuff, lots of fun. A little bit of everything for everybody, and with having the split screen and having a nice little branching mode, definitely really cool, and I'm looking forward to getting into it. Now, as far as the performance of this goes, connection-wise, as you can see in the background, we've had some games. Everything seems pretty good. Overall, it's fine. Now, with my internet, we did have a couple of situations where there were some issues, and well, the good news is it's all on my end. So overall, their connection seemed fine. Nothing seems too laggy. Nobody said anything like you seem to be to the left and then I was to the right or anything like that. You know, no crazy lag when we were playing in games. And well, as far as when they did the beta though, I was kind of scared that I might not get to play the game because of my connection, because I couldn't connect to anybody who was the host, and then I couldn't host games because it would crash. But it did end up leading to some funny moments that were, well, here's one. Oh, how did I miss? No. So yeah, pretty funny little moments there of like what was gonna happen, you know. But I just man, there was some losses too where I was about to lose. I couldn't find any of those, just because I think that was like one of the 4-hour streams, and there was another one that was like a 5-hour, so I too much video to go through. But at least I found a couple of them. And yeah, there was one with the Epion where I was about to do its ult to win the fight, and then as soon as I went for the flip of the sword, it just stopped. And I was like, oh man. So luckily though, all of that was just on my end, and now since they've been doing the pre-release open access, it's been fine, and hopefully I don't experience that in the future, which is probably just going to be a random thing with my ISP. I mean, I have a lot of issues with streaming and stuff like that. For anybody out there who has Spectrum, definitely knows the same thing and the same kind of pain. But overall connection quality though seems to be really good. Now every now and then, as you can see there, where you can see everybody's connection quality, sometimes you'll get what everybody's joking around about is Wi-Fi warriors. So if they are yellow, red, I think are the two colors for 1 and 2 bar, or I guess no bar is just gray. At that point, kind of rip, you're gonna have some weird lag and just synchronization issues more than anything. When you're actually playing, it seems to be okay as long as the game actually works. Normally it'll just break and you have to just find the next group or wait for the next shuffle to go through, and then hopefully you're able to kick whoever needs to be kicked and go on from there. So let's look at some suit choices here, and I'm just going to go over the series, that's the choices that they've got here. Not every suit from every series is in there. For instance, like the normal Goof from Gundam isn't in there, but they do have something like the Goof Custom, so that's kind of cool. So there's probably something from every series for everybody. There's a couple of suits that I would still like to see. Anyway, here we go. The series list: Gundam, Zeta Gundam, Double Zeta, Stars Counterattack, F91, Victory Gundam, G Gundam, Wing, Endless Waltz, After War X, Earn A, Seed, The Destiny, Double O, Double O Movie, Unicorn, Age, G Reconquista, IBO, Gundam Build Fighters, Gundam Build Fighters AR, 0080, Stardust Memory, 8th MS Team, Igloo, Thunderbolt, Crossbone, Blue Destiny. They also have the Hainu and the Nightingale. I'm not sure exactly where that's from, but I am a fan of the Nightingale itself. But yeah, I couldn't read the series name, so yeah. Seed Astray, Seed Stargazer, EXS Gundam. Again, couldn't read that one. Actually, to be honest, didn't know what the Gundam Build Fighters said. And then they also have the Build Fighters way down below where it says AR. So that there's one suit, I think, in each of those. But anyway, Hathaway's Flash, 00V, whatever series that is. Maybe that's the movie. So if that's the case, oops. And then the Extreme series, which is the final series that they have. Down at the bottom is the last category that actually comes from this game. Or there's another series that they actually come from, in which case then I'm crazy. Well, I'm crazy, but that's beside the point. Actually, now that I think about it, I think there was an extreme. Someone pointed out that the Extreme stuff actually came from something else. So there's that. But anyway, overall, quite a few suits to begin with. And compared to Versus, that's one of my biggest issues, is there was already like, oh, we're coming out with this suit as a pre-release, and if you don't pre-order, you don't get any of these like 3 or 4 suits, and then you have to buy them for DLC. So not only did it not have split screen co-op, it seemed to have a lot of DLC planned in that it was actually quite expensive looking to get all the suits. So I hope they don't end up doing that with this one, even though we know we're getting a few suits as I think free though for this first set of 3, like the Barbatos Lupus Rex, because they have the Barbatos Lupus in here, but they don't have the Rex. So that is a suit that's about to come out, but I don't know if that's free or not. They did do that at their Gundam presentation when they had the Japanese stream of Embion and Battle Operation 2. So, like I said, I don't know if that's free or not, but they had 2 other suits up there with the Lupus Rex, and overall the suit choice and variety is here at the beginning. I mean, there was a decent bit to begin with in Gundam Versus, but with how many they actually added and how many you had to pay for, I don't even want to look at how much that actually costs to get every suit. And for a fighting game, that is just a crazy thing to think about, especially if it's something that is kind of competitive. I mean, from what I know and from what I've seen in the past, anytime there was a DLC type character for certain fighting games, they were either selectable at the tournament because they had everything unlocked, or they were just banned outright for any kind of competition as far as like qualifiers and stuff like that. So, I mean, they had a ton of DLC for the first Gundam Versus, and hopefully we'll just get most of them. Now, of course, they're probably going to try to do some DLC. I mean, that's to be expected these days. I don't like it. I probably won't buy them. Saying, but hopefully they put in a few suits that are in Gundam Versus that aren't in this, and you know, they do it for free for the most part. Overall, though, suit choice pretty solid. Feels a whole lot better already than Gundam Versus, from what I recall from the base suits. And I'm just kind of happy that we've got a lot of the stuff right here out the gate. Now, a couple of concerns. Speaking of Gundam Versus and just this one, what is the life expectancy of the game? I mean, that's just only time will tell, but from what I've heard, there's not that many people on Gundam Versus, or at least there's a wait time sometimes for playing a game. Now, if you can get into a room like this, you know, a lot of people who I know stream will probably have like viewers, and they can make rooms and do that kind of thing in a, you know, community kind of sense. But for your average person just getting on, who's like, yeah, I'll just pick up this game, Gundam Versus, why not? Who just picked it up from, you know, GameStop or whatever, or downloaded it, and you know, they go to play it and they find out there's not too many people on. That's kind of a bummer. And that's the story that I've heard, is that the wait time is either a long wait, or pretty much might as well just go play against the AI. So again, I don't know, I don't have the normal Gundam Versus, so you know, take that for what you will. But if that's the case, that kind of sucks. Now, hopefully, this has at least a decent life, and yeah, I know I'll be playing it. And again, I actually got this one and I didn't get Versus, so maybe that's saying something. So hopefully more people are getting this one. I don't know. But that's one concern to have. And yeah, overall though, I love the selection. I think it's going to be fun to play. There's a lot of suits to just try that I haven't even tried. Actually, I think it was the Super Gundam, and what was the other one? It was in like the Mark II. No, was it the? I can't remember now. It was the last one of the suits I played when I streamed. I tried like some random suits just because I was like, okay, I'm going to play suits I haven't tried before. There was a few that I tried, and I was like, wow, this thing is actually really cool. And it has really simple combos, or, you know, this one actually shoots a lot better than I thought it would. Different things like that. And there's just a lot of suits to try, and a lot of suits that I haven't even heard of, or might have heard of, but then just never really thought of because I didn't, watch either all of the series or watch the series at all. And they're kind of cool to play. I am a big fan of giant lasers, and there's a lot of giant lasers in this, so 10 out of 10. And I'm a big fan of nukes. If you couldn't tell, I think I probably threw a few nukes and shot a few nukes in the background footage. But yeah, guys, I have to say, it's pretty promising. I can't wait to play it, and I can't wait to see how far the split screen goes, and I might even make a full review video afterwards. But if I've said pretty much the same thing here, and I feel like I'm going to be repeating myself a lot, then this will probably be as far as it goes. But yeah, there's some gameplay and some thoughts, and if you're interested in it, this helps inform you a little bit about what I think about the game and what there is. But anyway, guys, usual stuff will be down in the description: Twitch, Twitter, Discord, all that stuff and things. But anyway, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Peace.